But first, I want you to understand the most crucial part of Barr's Senate testimony and what it tells us about where we're going over the next several months. And beyond all the fake outrage over Bob Mueller disagreeing with Barr's release of the summary without his summary and the slanderous attacks on the Attorney General today, this is the most important thing to know.
We first heard that the special counsel's decision not to decide the obstruction issue at the March 5th meeting when he came over to the department, and we were frankly surprised that they were not going to reach a decision on obstruction. And we asked them a lot about the reasoning behind this and the basis for this. Special counsel Mueller stated 3 times to us in that meeting in response to our questioning that he emphatically was not saying that but for the OLC opinion, he would have found obstruction.
Okay, this is stunning. What all of this means is that despite all the chatter and gossip, hair pulling today, despite the continuing leaks, Mueller was unable to find obstruction. And further, the Justice Department, their long-standing opinion from the OLC that a sitting president cannot be indicted, had no bearing on Mueller's findings. Notice that the legal geniuses over at MSNBC did not interrupt their live coverage of the hearing to highlight what I just shared with you, because they were too busy doing fantastical real-time fact checks, which I'm going to show you in just a moment. But this was my favorite description of the day.
The special counsel investigation started by his hand-picked deputy attorney general.
We will continue to hear from the president's hand-picked attorney general.
Trump's hand-picked attorney general, William Barr.
This behavior by his hand-picked attorney general, this Roy Cohn type guy who's working for him, not the country.
No, wait a second. Was the attorney general in the Trump administration supposed to be picked by Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer? What would they prefer, a randomly selected AG? Just pull someone off the street? Or maybe we can just go to a lottery system instead. Every attorney general is selected by the sitting president. He serves at the pleasure of the president. Every single one of them. So these people, these other media outlets, they don't even know just basic government functioning, I guess, or they're just spinning foolishness. And the media were not alone in their slanderous attacks on Barr, of course. Having determined that there was no Trump-Russia collusion, Democrats have now moved on to a Trump-Barr collusion narrative.
I think history will judge you harshly. That conclusion is inescapable.
You've not only put your own credibility into question, but seem to be giving sanction to behavior through the language you used in that press conference you held.
You lied. And now we know. Being Attorney General of the United States is a sacred trust. You have betrayed that trust. America deserves better. You should resign.
You slandered this man from top to bottom.
Senator Graham, of course, is 100% correct. If the Democrats want to impeach this president on the basis of this Mueller report, I say, you try it. You go for it, kids. You have the whole report. You got all 448 pages. None of the Democrats, by the way, have actually gone to view the fully unredacted report. They can go to the special room of the Justice Department. If they're so set about, set on this idea of impeaching Trump, go look at the full report unredacted. Only 2 people have gone to see it, both Republicans. These people are complete and utter frauds. If you think you have the evidence to impeach, roll the dice. Let's see what you got, guys. Let's see what you have. See where it ends up. But in the midst of his congressional harassment today, Barr explained how the special counsel process actually works.
His work concluded when he sent his report to the Attorney General. At that point, it was my baby, and I was making a decision as to whether or not to make it public, and I effectively overrode the regulations, used discretion to lean as far forward as I could to make that public. And it was my decision how and when to make it public, not Bob Mueller's. And the job of the Justice Department is now over. That determines whether or not there's a crime. The report is now in the hands of the American people. Everyone can decide for themselves. There's an election in 18 months. That's a very democratic process. But we're out of it. And we have to stop using the criminal justice process as a political weapon.
Bingo. That was the key moment from today. And by the way, particularly when there was no criminal wrongdoing discovered by Mueller. Zero. He couldn't do the interview with the president. He didn't want to go to court to try to get the sit down with the president because he knew he'd lose. So let's break this down for some of the armchair legal analysts out there. There is no disagreement about the central facts of Mueller's investigation. Fact one, there was no criminal conspiracy with Russia. Some people call that collusion. None. Fact two, while the Mueller report did find possible instances of obstructive behavior, it did not come to a conclusion to recommend prosecution. It's a binary choice, either or. The rest, just window dressing. The inconsequential rantings of fanatics who didn't get what they wanted, and they're bitter and they're clinging to the old narrative that went nowhere. The criminal prosecution of the President of the United States wasn't going to happen. It didn't happen.